Kira, after 15 years with TechVantage, we're restructuring your position. Marjorie Thompson announced, her voice carrying a barely concealed note of satisfaction. She sat across from me in the small conference room flanked by Denise from HR, both of them wearing carefully crafted expressions of corporate regret. The company is moving in a new direction. Denise added, sliding a manila folder across the table. Your contributions have been valuable, but we're consolidating the research division under the product development team. I nodded thoughtfully, accepting the folder without opening it. Inside would be the standard severance package, 2 weeks for every year of service, continued health coverage for 3 months, and a list of career counseling resources I would never use. I completely understand, I replied, my voice steady. These decisions are never easy. Relief flashed across their faces. They'd clearly expected tears, protests, or anger. After all, I was a 55-year-old woman, being pushed out of the tech industry, where youth was prized above experience. What they didn't know was that I had anticipated this moment for weeks. Ever since a misdirected email thread had appeared in my inbox last month, "We'd like you to clean out your desk by Friday." Marjorie continued gaining confidence from my apparent acceptance. "We'll need your keycard company laptop and phone before you leave. Your team will be notified this afternoon." My Team 6 brilliant engineers I had personally recruited and mentored over the years, the same team that had helped me develop the distributed processing algorithm that now powered TechVantage's flagship product AccountSphere, accounting software, used by over 40% of Fortune 500 companies. "Of course," I said, rising from my chair. "Is there anything else?" They exchanged glances clearly thrown by my composure. Marjorie recovered first. "That's all for now. Thank you for making this professional." As I walked back to my community center, I passed the glass-walled conference room where the executive team was meeting. Through the transparent barrier, I could see CEO Victor Lawson gesturing animatedly at a PowerPoint presentation titled Q3 Revenue Projections. The same Victor Lawson who had taken credit for my algorithm at last year's industry conference, referring to me only as one of our research team members. I closed my community center door and pulled out my personal phone, sending a single text message, "It's happening." "Friday is my last day." The response came immediately. "Perfect timing. Contracts are ready. Dinner tonight to finalize details." I smiled as I looked at the calendar on my desk. Today was Friday. I would leave TechVantage for the last time, and Monday would be fascinating. That evening, I met Gregory Sullivan at Meridian, an upscale restaurant far from TechVantage's headquarters, as the CEO of Precision Systems. TechVantage's largest competitor. Greg knew the value of discretion. He'd reserved a private dining alcove in the back, shielded from curious eyes by elegant Japanese screens. "They actually did it," Greg said, shaking his head after we ordered. "I suspected they might, but to cut the very person who developed their core technology. Victor never understood what I actually created." I replied, sipping my water. He saw the implementation, the user interface, the marketing potential, but the underlying architecture that was just text stuff to him. The irony was almost too perfect. 3 months ago, I discovered the patent application for my distributed processing algorithm had never been filed by TechVantage's legal team, an oversight they'd claimed when I inquired. They'd assured me they'd handle it immediately, but something about their response had seemed off, prompting me to check the company's internal documentation. That's when I found a strategy memo outlining plans to claim the algorithm as company-developed technology without specific inventor attribution. They'd planned to push me out before securing the patent, knowing intellectual property developed by employees typically belonged to the company. What TechVantage didn't know was that I'd already been working on refinements to the algorithm on my own time, using my personal equipment. Those improvements, which dramatically increased processing efficiency by 43%, weren't covered by my employment agreement. I'd quietly filed for a patent under my own name last month, fully documented with timestamps and development logs that clearly showed the work was completed. Outside of company time, the patent had been granted with remarkable speed. Thanks to Greg's introduction to a top-tier IP attorney, All the paperwork is finalized, Greg said. Now sliding a folder across the table as soon as you sign, Precision Systems officially acquires exclusive licensing rights to your patent. The press release goes out Monday morning, announcing you as our new Chief Innovation Officer. I reviewed the documents carefully, though I'd already memorized the key terms: a 7-figure signing bonus, substantial equity in Precision Systems, and ongoing royalties from all products using my algorithm. What do you think Victor's face will look like when he realizes what's happened? Greg asked, unable to hide his satisfaction at the prospect. I'm more concerned about my team. I admitted they don't deserve to be caught in the fallout. Greg nodded, already addressed. We have positions for all 6 of them, if they're interested. Senior roles with significant raises. I signed the final page and closed the folder in one elegant move. I had secured. My future protected my team and ignition for my work to new beginnings, Greg said, raising his glass, and to owning your own value. I added, clinking my glass against his. Thursday and Friday passed in a blur of exit interviews, knowledge transfer meetings, and saying goodbye to colleagues. I maintained my professional composure throughout. Even as rumors spread across the company, administrative assistants gave me sympathetic glances in the hallways. Junior developers approached awkwardly, asking if I'd provide LinkedIn recommendations before I left. I documented everything meticulously, every project, every password, every process, knowing full well that Tech Vantage would soon discover just how thorough they needed me to be. My decision to leave comprehensive transition notes wasn't kindness. It was evidence that I had acted in good faith while the company had not. During my final exit interview on Friday afternoon, Denise from HR went through the standard checklist with mechanical efficiency. You understand that any intellectual property developed during your employment remains the property of Tech Vantage, she stated, pushing a non-disclosure agreement across the table. Of course, I replied pleasantly, anything developed within the scope of my employment using company resources during company time. I emphasized those qualifiers slightly, but Denise was too busy checking boxes to notice, and you affirm you have no copies of proprietary company information. I have taken nothing that belongs to Tech Vantage. I confirmed truthfully the patent was mine after all, as I packed the personal items from my desk. Family photos, a collection of conference badges marking 15 years of industry events. The coffee mug my team had given me last Christmas. Marjorie stopped by, leaning against my doorframe with artificial casualness. I just wanted to check that everything's clear for your departure, she said, watching me. Place items into a cardboard box. Crystal clear, I replied, wrapping a small award I'd received for the very algorithm now at the center of my plans. The irony wasn't lost on me as I carefully placed it between layers of tissue paper. You know, Kira, these restructuring decisions are never personal, Marjorie continued. Victor feels the company needs to move in a more youthful direction. I looked up, meeting her gaze directly. I understand completely. Business is business. Something in my tone made her pause for a brief moment. Uncertainty flickered across her face, but she quickly dismissed it. What could a soon-to-be unemployed 55-year-old woman possibly do? Will you be taking some time off? She asked, an artificial note of concern in her voice. Actually, I already have something lined up, I replied. I start Monday. Oh, surprise, crossed her features. That's fast. Anything interesting? I smiled, very a leadership position. I'm quite excited about it. She nodded absently, already, mentally moving on to other matters. Well, good luck with that. As I walked out of Tech Vantage's glass headquarters for the final time, keycards surrendered and personal belongings in tow. I took a moment to look back at the building where I'd spent 15 years of my career. On the top floor, I could see the executive conference room lit up for an evening meeting, likely discussing how to redistribute my responsibilities among younger, less experienced, and significantly less expensive staff. Little did they know that in less than 72 hours, the same room would be hosting an emergency crisis meeting. Instead, Monday morning dawned bright and clear. I dressed carefully in my new charcoal suit, a power outfit I'd purchased specifically for this day. The Precision Systems town car arrived precisely at 7:30 a.m. to take me to their headquarters where I'd start my first day as Chief Innovation Officer. The press release went live at 7 a.m. Greg informed me as I settled into my new corner community center with floor-to-ceiling windows. Industry newsletters are already picking it up. I've got the communications team monitoring reactions. The announcement had been crafted with strategic precision. Precision Systems acquired exclusive rights to revolutionary processing algorithm. Welcomes creator Dr. Kira Jennings as Chief Innovation Officer. It detailed my background, emphasized my role as the sole inventor of the patented technology, and outlined how Precision Systems would be integrating the algorithm into their next generation of products. Most importantly, it clearly stated that any company currently using the technology would need to negotiate licensing agreements with Precision Systems moving forward at precisely 9:15 a.m. My phone lit up with the first text from my former team at Tech Vantage. Complete chaos here. What did you do? It was from Miguel, my lead developer. I smiled, typing back, "Check your personal email. All 6 of you have offers waiting." Meanwhile, 8 miles away at Tech Vantage headquarters, the scheduled Monday morning executive meeting was undergoing a dramatic transformation according to Miguel's play-by-play updates. Throughout the morning, Victor had arrived at the community center to find the company's general counsel and chief financial officer waiting at his door. Both Ash and Fade, the industry announcement, had hit their inboxes simultaneously, setting off immediate alarms by 9:30 a.m. What should have been a routine start-of-week meeting had morphed into an emergency crisis session. Board members were calling in remotely. The legal team was frantically reviewing my employment contract and the documentation around the algorithm's development. "They're pulling every file with your name on it." Miguel reported someone just wheeled in all the servers from the research division for the tech team to analyze. I could picture the scene perfectly. Victor pacing the conference room, demanding explanations from Marjorie and the legal department. The stock would already be responding to the news investors' hated uncertainty, and the announcement had created plenty of it at 10:45 a.m. In the dim light of the conference room, Kira stands at the head of the table, her heart pounding. The air is thick with tension, the scent of fresh coffee mingling with the faint aroma of anxiety. As she begins to speak, her voice trembles but grows stronger, resonating with years of unacknowledged effort. The room falls silent, eyes locked on her. In that moment, she feels the weight of her journey lift. She is not just a survivor of age discrimination, she is a force to be reckoned with. Tears well up, but they are tears of triumph, not defeat. Kira's journey has been anything but easy. For years, she faced age discrimination and career upheaval, often feeling invisible in a world that seemed to overlook her experience. But today, she stands ready to reclaim her narrative. The whispers of doubt that once clouded her mind are now replaced with a fierce determination. As she addresses her colleagues, Kira reflects on the countless times she was told to be grateful for a seat at the table. "Why should I be grateful?" she asks herself. "I've earned my place." The room is filled with a palpable energy, a mix of anticipation and disbelief. "Today, I'm not just here to talk about algorithms or patents," she declares, her voice steady. "I'm here to talk about recognition, about valuing the contributions of those who innovate, regardless of their age." The tension in the room shifts. Kira's words resonate deeply, striking a chord with her audience. She pauses, allowing the weight of her message to sink in. How many of you have felt overlooked? How many of you have watched others take credit for your hard work? The silence is deafening. Kira can see the nods of agreement, the shared understanding of a struggle that transcends age and experience. As she continues, Kira recounts her journey from being sidelined at Tech Vantage to becoming the Chief Innovation Officer at Precision Systems. "I was told my ideas were too old, too outdated," she says, her voice rising with passion. But what they didn't realize is that experience is a treasure trove of knowledge. The room is captivated. Kira's story is not just hers. It's a reflection of the challenges many face in the workplace. She speaks of the moment she decided to leave TechVantage, the fear that gripped her, and the exhilaration of stepping into her new role. Every setback was a setup for a comeback, she asserts, her eyes shining with conviction. I refused to let age define my worth. As she wraps up her presentation, Kira feels a sense of catharsis wash over her. The applause that follows is not just for her achievements but for the message she embodies. She has transformed her pain into power, her struggles into strength. In that moment, Kira knows she has not only reclaimed her narrative but has also inspired others to do the same. The journey is far from over, but she is ready to face whatever comes next, armed with the knowledge that her voice matters. As the conference concludes, Kira steps off the stage, her heart full. She has become a beacon of hope for those who feel overlooked, a reminder that age is not a barrier but a badge of honor. The world is watching, and she is ready to lead the charge for recognition and respect in the tech industry. With each step, Kira embraces her new reality, knowing that she is not just a survivor, but a trailblazer, paving the way for others to follow. The future is bright, and she is determined to shine.